Hello everybody, welcome to the decks of the weekend. Here in front of me I had the Mono White Hammer that has won everything this weekend at the SEG Pittsburgh in America. There were two tournaments of decent size, and both of them were won by the same player, Travis Brown, on Mono White Hammer. Now, you might have heard of this name before. It's this Grunted Elk on Twitter, and he has been just doing very well with Hammer for so long. He's the one who added Miracle Solitude package to it, and now he has 3 Curse Totem to fight the Yawgmoth matchup. And yeah, that's just amazing. I played this deck on stream today. It didn't go as well. This deck is incredibly deep, incredibly difficult to fight against all the hate and all the various interaction. So I suggest you to check out that video. Just again, I'm not gonna win very much, but I think it really shows the amount of actually depth that go into this archetype, and to have that astounding amount of record is definitely something that is super good. I'm very happy to see someone dominating with an archetype that is seen as like a kind of obsolete now. You don't see very many Hammer around. Although at the RCQ I went yesterday, actually the same player who made the final against me the other day actually was able to come. I think he lost in the top 4 to Scam, which is supposed to be a good matchup. I, on the other hand, was able to get into the final. I conceded to the finalists because I'm already qualified to the RCQ, but I played to the RC, sorry, I played an RCQ with Mono Black Coffers. This is the deck that I believe in. I think it's, it's underexplored. What I mean that is that there's just, every list that you see are the same. Here I have a bunch of different choices that I've showed them on my YouTube video that you can find that came out last week. I have 3 Brooks, 3 Coffer. The reason to do that is so that you have more hands that are playable. Like sometimes you have Swamp, Kala Coffers, Night's Whisper, and you actually have to mulligan that hand, which sucks because you really don't want to mulligan that hand. You want to keep that hand. 2 lands and Night's Whisper in a deck with 26 lands, you should keep it. At the tournament, I wasn't playing Talisman and I was playing Troll. That was the only change I made. But going forward, I will put the One Ring in the sideboard over like a Stone of Eric, and I think I want to play a 3rd Shieldred. I feel like in theory, the One Ring made sense in Tron because Tron is a threat-heavy deck. So you actually, whenever you go Karn, you always find something in the sideboard, you always have a lot of mana, whereas in Tron, it's actually in Mono Black Offer, it's actually different. Sometimes you just go turn 4 Karn, and you just want to get a next play in the One Ring, and you don't care if Karn dies, because you actually don't have that many expensive plays like Tron. So I still like the Metamorph, I think it's great. Actually, I won a match because I was playing the Mirror match. I played the Mirror match twice, and they had Duress, and I was able to pick up Metamorph with Karn rather than Ring, and they had Duress. So I would say that this list is good, this archetype is good. I beat Scam, I lost to, Mono Black Coffers, and I think the classic Scam, since like last time we made a podcast mentioning Scam, people loved it. Love to hear our opinion, so I'll keep on saying that I don't think Scam should be banned. This weekend, once again, there might be some like crazy amount of Scam on Magic Online, but the paper events show that Scam is a great deck, the best deck in the format. It was definitely prevalent in that SEG event, but didn't dominate. My RCQ was the most popular deck. There's only one in the top 8, so, sub 50% win rate. Overall, Scam is a very good deck. It's the best deck in the format, but definitely not ban-worthy. And the Magic Online data is just, I don't know, not, don't too focus too little much on that. Alright, let's move on to another format here. Let's talk about Legacy. This weekend there's the Eternal Weekend. I'll be playing both Legacy and Vintage. I still haven't decided my deck. I'm posting a bunch of videos this week of deck that I'm testing. The Wasteland Dates decks have performed very poorly for me. They definitely just, the control deck seems unbeatable. The combo decks are super powerful now with Beseech the Mirror in Storm. But there is another combo deck that made the final this weekend, which is something that I've showed already on my deck of the weekend. I think there's also a video with this deck, so check it out. Although I really didn't know exactly how that deck works, I make many mistakes. Now I learned this deck a lot more. I actually got to play it a little bit with Sean, Beekeeper, and came second by Serial Guy, and this deck is called Mississippi River or Creative Technique. It's a deck that plays 38 lands and plans on resolving this creative technique card. And you basically put this on the stack somehow by either cascading it with a boarding party or a phoenix, and then you demonstrate your opponent gets a copy, you get a copy. So this is somewhat strong to a force of will, because whatever you flip, you will still get a more creative technique copies, and eventually you get 2 Emrakul or get Monster of Wanderer, you cascade, and you still get 2 Emrakul. So this is a strong combo deck. It has a lot of bad matchups. For example, lands, they just wasteland you. For example, fast combo like Upso spells on Nazem and etc. Although I guess they are somewhat popular, but not like the most popular. This deck is decent against Control and Delver, just like it's decent against the Blue Fair deck because it's quite resilient to counter spells, because you need 2 counter spell on the combo turn, and even if that happens, you can just play another one before you die, play another one of these cascade spells. And it's actually a big deal that there is a new card in this archetype that it's gonna help this deck a lot, and it is Trumpeting Carnosaur. So again, this was shared by Sean Goddard, Beekeeper, and what Trumpeting Carnosaur does for this deck is that it's a 6 mana 7/6 trample. That doesn't matter at all. And you, when it enters the battlefield, you discover 5. Now, what's discover 5? It's a new mechanic that's basically Cascade, although it doesn't go on the stack when you cast it, but it actually has to resolve. But once this Trumpeting Carnosaur resolves, you get to the Creative Technique. And if you flip this off of Creative Technique, you discover. So this still continues the chain, but it's a little bit harder to start the chain, because if you force this, you don't even get to the Creative Technique part. And the reason why you're playing it is because you tap 3, you discard it, and you can kill an Archon of Emeria, which is a very problematic card for this deck. And Initiative, speaking of which, won the 2 challenges this weekend. So Initiative very much on the picture. Of course, Control deck was the best deck of the weekend last week. Initiative and also this archetype rose to beat those decks. So the metagame of Legacy is super healthy, super evolving, and the combo decks are now maybe pushing away Control a little bit from the top, but still, to me, that's the best deck in the format, and the deck that's going to be the one to beat at the Eternal Weekend. But like, I'm not saying that you should play this deck, but definitely a deck that caught my attention, came second on Sunday, losing to Initiative in the final. So, you know, again, it's a cool deck idea, and is getting a new card. Finally, I'll talk about Pauper. Pauper has the Paupergeddon this weekend in Rome. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there because I go to Eternal Weekend. I can't be everywhere, unfortunately. And this deck from Piegonte is the deck that has done very well recently on Magic Online. He top 8 at the challenge, and he's playing Campfire, which is a new card, which is basically only goal is that to shuffle your deck so you don't get decked out, and you gain a lot of life. You gain 2 life. That's actually a big deal. What this deck does is just you kill your opponent threats and you don't deck, and then eventually you win with Troll or Faranga Marauder. This deck is gonna get a new card for sure with the card called Tithing Blade. I made a video for Channel Fireball where I showcased some of the new cards, but Tithing Blade is definitely the strongest card of the set, which is basically a 2-mana Edict. This deck is going to be happy to play it, and you can also play Mephitic Drought to have more effects, to sacrifice to Reckoners, Bargain, and Deadly Dispute. And you even have Fanatical Offer as an additional of this type of effect, although I don't think this deck should play it. On the other hand, Grixis Affinity can play it, and it won on Saturday by Luffy, and that's another deck that's going to be so happy to add those new cards. So I think that Pauper this weekend will have the new cards and will be revolutionated, or revolutioned, anyway, by this new addition. I think that Tatim Blade and Mephitic Drought are going to be a big deal, as well as the Goblin Tomb Raider, which is the 1/2 that gets +1/+0 haste if you control an artifact. So this is definitely something that we're gonna see next week, probably on the deck of the weekend. Definitely gonna highlight the decks that won the Eternal Weekend, or rather did well in the Eternal Weekend, did well in the Paupergeddon. And so that's gonna be it for me. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the deck of the weekend. I'm hoping to bring back a trophy next week. I'll bring back one of these large cards that you can win in the Eternal Weekend, or even a Dragon's Rage Channeler, or those fantastic promos that you can win with the top 8. It's in Prague, so I'll be gone on Thursday. Although my YouTube channel will have a video per day, we're gonna have the podcast tomorrow, so the content on the Mango channel never stops. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and thank you so much for watching.